Welcome back to the series on project development with Node.js. In this video, we are going to talk about how we can set up our middlewares for actually setting up the strategy for Passport. What's the strategy inside a Passport? You can, in simple word, assume that it's the algorithm that Passport package is going to use in order to actually authenticate the users. This strategy can be based on various like I would say conventions and technologies, like you can use the JWT tokens in order to authenticate and build a strategy around it, or maybe you can use some Omnion strategies around Google login or Facebook login. Every detail is already given in the official documentation of Passport, so you can definitely refer that. Okay, cool. So now let's just start. So first of all, we have our util folder. Inside our util folder, what we can do is we can make a new file, auth.js. This auth.js file is going to have a lot of strategies and a lot of things that we are going to use inside our application. Okay, so first of all, let's import Passport. Then we'll import local strategy is equals to require Passport local dot strategy, and then we can say we'll need a user model, or just user we can say, is require models user. Okay, now first of all, what we are going to do, we'll say Passport dot use. This use is similar to the use in the Express application also. It's going to add some middlewares, right? Passport dot use. So first of all, it expects this like for what action you want to have the strategy. So for sign up, whenever we'll go for sign up, we will build a new local strategy. We'll build a new local strategy. Inside that local strategy, we are going to have a username field. So this is going to be email, like,
इसी गाड़ी को बोल रहे थे। अच्छा
and
है
a password
यही गाड़ी को।
field. This is going to have password right from our object. Okay. Now then, what we'll do, we'll pass another function. So this will get another function as the parameter. So email password done. Done is going to expect this callback kind of a thing. Okay. And inside this function, we'll say try and a catch. Okay. We'll say console.log error, and we'll say done error. Then it's going to call the next middleware, right? Otherwise, we'll say const user is equals to user dot create, and this should be a wait because it's an asynchronous call. User dot create, and we'll say email comma password. Okay. So this is going to actually create the user based on the email and the password. And whenever we are going to sign in, because similar for sign in also, we are going to create a local strategy. It is going to get the email and password from the sign up functionality that we have, right? And whenever we will be executing user dot create, what will happen is it will automatically encrypt the password, so we don't have to handle that specifically. At last, what we can say is return done null comma, because there is no error. So in the error field, it's a error first callback. This done is an error first callback. So if there is no error, we'll pass null, and in the data, we'll pass the user that we have extracted. Okay. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's set up the strategy for login also. Okay. So passport dot use login new local strategy. Inside the new local strategy. Inside the strategy, first of all, we are going to pass an object with username field as email and password field as password, same as sign up password. Okay, and then we are going to pass second pass an asynchronous callback, which is going to have email, password, and a done function. We'll again do try catch. Error. We'll say this should be returned. Console.log error, return done error. If there is any error in doing the login mechanism, that's when this is going to be handled. Otherwise, what we are going to do, const user is equals to await user dot find one, and we should find the user by email. Then we'll say if we are not able to find any user with the corresponding email, we'll say return done null false, and we'll pass a custom object message user not found. Okay, user not found. Otherwise, we'll say const validate is equals to await user dot is so inside the user model, we wrote this function is valid password, so you can use it here, is valid password, and we can pass a password. Right, so this is the moment. If you are able to find the user, now you are going to authenticate, or I would say check whether the password given by the user is same as the password stored for the user in the hashed form. Right, okay, so if not validate, we'll say return done null false message wrong password. Okay, otherwise we'll say return done null, will instead of false we'll pass the user, and we'll pass the message as logged in successfully. Okay, right, so this login strategy is also done for us, right? Okay, now what we can do is inside our routes, now we can go open routes v1 index.js. Inside our routes, maybe we can do something, right? So first of all, let's do one thing. Let's get passport. We get passport here. Okay, we have the router already in place. Now we can set up few routes. So first of all, we'll say router dot post a post method we are going to make with the URL as /sign up, and we will say we will pass a middleware passport dot authenticate, and what strategy we are going to use to authenticate. See, now it is going to take up the strategy. For the corresponding strategy, we have the function map, so we'll just pass the strategy here. The strategy here is sign up. The sign up strategy is going to be used, right? And there is no session, so session false. We are not doing any session mechanism here, right? And comma, we are going to pass our asynchronous callback function request response, the simple one. So let's just make it a bit more cleaner. Okay, so now the request response, and here we can say first of all, let's do one thing. Okay, we can say rest.status 200.json. We'll build a JSON. We'll say success true and message sign up successful, and we can say data. In the data property, we'll pass request.user as user. Okay, and let's see if anything else we should do. Good, I believe this should be good to go. Let's check. If we go to the sign up strategy, let's see. Inside the sign up strategy, we are going to pass. Okay, so it will fetch the email and password. I guess this should be good. This should be good, right? Okay, and this is the post route that we have created, right? This is the post route that we have created. Okay. Now we need to create the login route, right? The login route we have to create. So apart from this passport and express, we need to also get JWT, because that's when the JWT token verification mechanism is expected to happen. So require JSON web token. Okay. Require JSON web token. And now we'll have a login route. So router dot post. Sorry, my bad. Router dot post. Okay. We'll say slash login, comma. We'll say asynchronous request response, the callback for the controller. This is the controller callback, right? And now inside the controller callback, we are going to authenticate. So we'll say passport dot authenticate. And what strategy we are going to use? We are going to use the strategy of login. So we made two strategies, right? And inside the login strategy, we'll pass one more callback of error, user, and some info. Right. So if you are able to successfully authenticate, see, we were returning any error, user if there is a user, otherwise false, and some extra information like message. Right. We'll say try, catch, error. Inside try, we will say if error or not user. If there is any error or we were not able to find the user, we'll say const error is equals to error, and we'll say something went wrong. Okay, and we'll say return next with the error. Okay, so we'll get next here also. So whatever is the next callback that we want to execute, we are going to pass the error there, right? If there is no error, we'll say request dot login, right? So login is going to be an express method, request dot login, and we'll pass the user that we have fetched. So the user that we have fetched, then we will pass an object session false because we don't want to set up it, and then we'll say asynchronous error, right? It will only take error. If there is any error, return next error, just pass the error to the next callback. Otherwise we'll say const body is equals to id as user dot id, comma, email as user dot email. Okay, this is the body. Then we'll fetch the token. Token is jwt dot sign, right? So this is the sign in token. Whenever you sign in, this token is going to be used. We'll say user body, right? So this sign function expects an object on which, based on this object only, it is going to create the JWT token. So later when we have to verify the JWT token, we will try to use the similar mechanism and we will fetch this original object back. So that's why I'm going to pass this user object in the in this case, and then we have to pass some secret here. So let's say for the timing, I'll just write top secret, right? You can just customize this string. You can write like ABCDEF or anything like that. This secret is going to use to convert this object into a JWT token. And at last we'll say return rest dot status 200 dot JSON, and inside the JSON we are passing the token. Okay. Otherwise, if we caught an error, we'll say console.log error and return next error. Okay, and we have passed token. We can do a few more things here. We can pass success through, and we can pass message successfully signed. Okay, this and token, when you just write one word, it will be key and value same. So key will be token and the value, it is going to take this token variable. That is going to be really easy, right? Okay, now what we can say is, what we can do is, we will say we need few more packages like const JWT strategy is equals to require passport JWT dot strategy, and we'll say const extract JWT is equals to require is going to require passport JWT dot extract JWT. Right. So these two, I would say, packages from passport JWT module is going to actually help us to in order to extract the JWT and verify it. Right. Like all of this mechanism is already built inside Postman. Built inside Passport. That's the best part. Okay, and let's just do one thing. Okay, this should be colon user.email. Okay. Now what we can say is, let's say we will say passport. We can go to, okay, let's do one thing. Instead of using them here, we can go to auth.js and we can add these strategies here. So we can say passport dot use new JWT strategy, and this strategy takes an object username field, or this takes secret or key, and again you can pass some secret. So let's keep the secret same. Right, you can later make environment variables and change the secret from there. Right, and then you say JWT from request as extract JWT dot from URL query parameter will fetch the secret token, and you can replace it with any other string, and then we will also pass an asynchronous function token comma done. Right, token comma done will say try catch console.log error done error. Okay, and then try will say return done null comma token dot user. Now the moment what will happen is, if you will use this new strategy of JWT strategy, what will happen is it will automatically get the JWT token that you are passing in the request and fetch it, and from that it will extract the user object. This is something really very important. Right. Okay. Now we have set up our user strategy. We have also set up login. Now let's do one thing. We can go to routes index.js. Right. We can go to routes index.js and let's add a new route. So let's say we'll say router dot get slash, I would say, or let's do one thing. We already have our help router set up, right? We already have this help route set up. Let's use this. Okay. We already have this help route set up. So what we can do is, let's say we can, first of all, let's commit this much. So get add all git commit -m added boilerplate for passport strategy. Okay. Cool. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go inside the index.js file. Now here is the point where the actual magic is going to happen. Let's remove this user, and now what we can say is, let's get body parser. First of all, let's set up things here first. So const body parser is equals to require body parser. Okay, so we got body parser, and we also need passport. Right, so body passport uh, body parcel and passport are here. Let's okay. Now what we can do is we have our MongoDB setup also ready, right? Mongo's connection is everything ready. Now we need to get the routes. Okay, routes are also here. We have the API router, so the API router is there. And now what we can say is app.use/API, and here we'll say passport.authenticate using the JWT strategy. We don't need a session, so this session object will be false. Now any route that starts with /API, right, is going to be expected to be authenticated always, right? You need to pass the JWT token, and then only you will be able to authenticate your API. This is something that we have set up, right? Let's just do one thing. Let's just try to run the server and see if there are any errors or something. Okay, so server is starting successfully. I guess this should be a good to go, right? And now let's just try to test our API, right? So first of all, localhost 3000 /API/v1/sign up. Okay, now here is one problem. If you will go with sign up directly, now everything that you have mentioned that starts with /API is going to be authenticated first. But for sign up, we don't need any authentication. So we need to do some code segregation here. So if we go to routes, let's make new file, auth routes.js, and let's extract out our sign up and login logic from here, paste it here, and I guess now this part also should go there. Okay, and we don't need these two now here. Okay, so any route that is going to come to index.js is going to be authenticated, but not for this, right? And let's do one more thing. If we go to this, okay, now let's say const auth router is equals to require, one second, let's say we require /source/ okay, not /source/route/v1, right? And okay, one more thing, let's go here. Okay, this is v1 routes, this is requiring ./v1. Okay, cool. Now we need to, so let's do one thing, let's move auth routes outside v1 API because this is a separate one. So let's move it. So okay, so we have moved it outside. This is auth router. Okay, we need to do also module.exports, right? So module.exports router. Okay, and if we come here, then let's see what we need. So to get the auth routers, we just need to go to /source/routes /auth routes. Okay, this is the auth router, and we can say app.use/ auth router. I believe this should be something that we are able to do, right? And yeah, I believe this should be good to go. Okay, server started successfully. Okay, now the route, how the route looks like. The route looks like /, and if you go inside a auth router /sign up. So if we just do /sign up, okay, what are the things that we are expecting? For sign up, we are going to expect our user to have an email, a password, and a username, right? Let's see. So this is post sign up, right? And we are going to create a model, I guess, here. So where's the strategy, where we have mentioned the strategy? Okay, yeah, here's the strategy. So what's the sign up strategy? Okay, it creates email and password, right? It takes email and password. Okay. So cool. For the timing, let's just pass email and password. Username is something that we can make custom for the user. So this is going to be a post request. Why post request? You can see here sign up is a post request. So inside the body, let's make it 1 second raw in the form of a JSON. Okay, we'll pass email as, let's say, abc@xyz.com, and we'll pass password as 12345. Okay, let's see. Moment of truth. If we try to send it, okay, we are getting error, unknown authentication strategy. It's not able to get the strategy. Sign up. Okay, let's see. Sign up. If you go to the strategies, what's the strategy here? It is sign up. Okay, we have a strategy here. Okay, I believe we are missing one very small thing. Have we exported auth.js? Let's see. Just a moment. So I'm checking whether we have exported it or not. So auth.js, it should get it. This should be also there. Okay, I believe auth.js is good. It's not able to find the strategy. Let's just quickly Google it. Passport.
बकरी खोल के पपीता को
You have
ऊपर
to set the routes with passport. Okay, let's see. So we have to set it up like this.
पपीता के नहीं खाए
I believe this is something that we have done here.
पपीता मन के नहीं खाए गिर जाए
Let's see one more thing.
छगरी खोई नहीं खाए पार तक पपीता के
Okay, first of all,
ए
in
दिने
the
पैरे का असलम से छगरी
index.js, we
छगरी
have required body parser. We have not used it. This
ये
is something that is, first of all, we need to use. So we'll say
हां दीदी हो तो कहां से पारी
app.use.
है दीदी यहां से
Right. Body parser dot URL encoded extended false.
गौरव ढेके है
Right. And apart from that, okay, let's try now. Right. And let's do one more thing. For a generic, now we don't need this. Okay. For a generic error handling, you can say app.use function, because if anything goes sideways, error, request, response, next, we'll say rest.status 500, something went wrong, or if you have already passed some error.status, and then we'll say rest.json success false, and inside the error parameter we'll pass the error. Okay, this is something also that we should do. Server started successfully. Let's just try now. Send. Okay, so it says EE is not defined. Index.js line number 17. Let's see. Okay, sorry, error. My bad. Okay, so there is some error that is happening. Okay, at least now we are able to gracefully handle it, but there is some error that is happening. If we, for the time being, close it, and okay, unknown authentication strategy. Still the strategy is unknown. So let's see. Okay, so we have debugged what was the issue. So there were like few small issues. First of all, the strategy that we have built here, we never executed it because this is inside the auth file and we have no module.exports here. So what we are expected to do is, in our main server file, here we will require source/util/auth. So the moment you require this, you can see we are not storing it in any variable. So the moment you require, it will just pass the whole file and execute the whole file. That is the first thing that we are expected to do. After that, we also need to do one more thing. that is inside our user.js. Now we are not going to have username, I would say mandatory, because then the passport package is expecting us to just pass email and password. So username is something that maybe we can set temporary based on the pre parameter, or like you can have a trigger pre that can maybe split your email based on @ and the left part it can take. So however you want to keep it, you can do that, or maybe you can expose some user APIs for like updating the user, where you can update the username. So for the timing, let's say we are not even going to have a username, right? And then one more thing that is inside index, auth routes. What we are expected to do is this passport dot authenticate. The moment it authenticates, then we are going to, this is like an IFI, so we are going to immediately execute it with the request, response, and next. So inside the login,
Manish,
inside the authenticate, by using the strategy login, we have to also pass the request, response, and next parameters, so that we can get the access to the controller function, right? If we are done with all these three things, then let's just see the server has restarted successfully. Let's try to sign up. We have the email and the password if you send the request. Okay, the sign up is a post request. So if you try to send it, okay, see, we have successfully signed up. And the best part is email abc@xyz.com. Password, you can see it is completely encrypted. It is also like returning the ID and all. So what you can do in the, I would say, sign up, here you can see we are returning the complete user object. You can truncate the user object if you want, right? And if you go to, I would say, databases, and then you go to project, right? This is the database that we have. This is the users collection. And if you try to refresh, see, we have one user inside our collection. Now let's just try to sign in. So let's say slash login. And inside login, we are again going to pass email and password. If you send it, see, we have successfully logged in, and we have also received a JWT token. This is the JWT token that we have received. Let's just save it somewhere. Let's say in this file. Now let's say if you try to have wrong password, let's say 1234 only, and send it. See, something went wrong because you entered wrong password, right? Now let's just try to access our help route. So /API/v1/help, right? This route we have secured. This is a get route. So if you try to send the request, see, you are getting unauthorized. So what you have to do, you will go to params, and inside the params, you will write secret token, right? And this secret token, you can paste it as copy and just paste it here, right? And if you send it, see, you are successfully hitting the API, right? And the best part is it is going to use this authenticate method. So if you go to auth.js, it is going to use this JWT strategy, and it is going to extract the JWT from URL query parameter. Now the best part is, if you see this extract JWT object, you can extract the authentication from header or as a bearer token, right? So if you don't want to like pass it in the, I would say, URL query parameter, you can even pass it in the header. The header mechanism is generally the more common mechanism. So you can read about like what is the expectation around the header and how you can pass it, right? So the overall login sign up mechanism is working completely fine. All we have to do is just keep on adding the routes in the routes.js file. It will be automatically, I would say, secure, right? So let's just not save it, and let's just do git add all, git commit -m, added complete authentication. And if you do git status, okay, things are good. Sorry, git status, things are good. And if you do git log, so these are the steps that we have already done. Okay, now in the further upcoming videos, we are going to proceed in our development cycle, and we are going to add more features around the project. That being said, let's just wrap it up here. We are going to meet very, very soon in the next video. Till then, take care, guys. Bye bye, and thank you.